Hi everyone, I just wanted to check in and say hello before this video gets started. I got this video out a little bit later than I intended to, and I'm sorry for that. I spent a lot of time on a model that I could share with everybody, and I've done that on my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that down below in the description, and I also talk about it a little bit in the video. But the bottom line is I'm very bullish on 2020, and I'm holding the stock into earnings. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks so much for watching. Here it is. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Great to see you again. There's so many great videos covering the Tesla Q4 earnings release. And so I'm going to go through my own take, give you what I hope is only new information. And I'm actually going to start with my projection for 2020. I haven't seen a lot of people put those out. So I think Tesla EPS could be as high as $10.61 a share. I'm going to share my model and put it out to you guys so you can take a look and make your own assumptions and decide for yourself. But that is my sort of upside estimate for 2020. And for people that are new, I purchased Tesla stock in November of 2019, and it was really the result of doing my own research on the robotaxi and the other business lines Tesla has been working hard on for the last several years that the analyst community and the wider press has been laughing at. And when I did my own research, I found those opportunities to be very real and offer extreme upside for the shares. So just a couple of comments on the recent trading activity in Tesla. I know there have been a lot of news stories out there about ESG investing and the popularity of big institutional money coming into ESG friendly investments such as Tesla. And I'm talking about names like BlackRock and others. In my opinion, there has been large institutional buying in Tesla stock. And the reason that I say that is because I've noticed that the volatility in the stock has really only been to the upside over the last 30 days or so. There have been a couple of drawdowns, but even on the big S&P negative days, the stock acts to me like some very big buyers are in an accumulation phase. So I don't know what's going to happen on the Q4 print, and I'm actually not going to spend a lot of time going through my projections for Q4, but I am going to talk about 2020 as a whole. And before we do that, let's just rewind for a little bit and go all the way back to Q1 and just talk about where we were at the time. So going into Q1 of 2019, the stock was around 250, 260, and the stock actually traded down on Q1 earnings. And remember that Tesla had just had their autonomy day, and there were a lot of exciting things, announcements made about the robotaxis and expecting to have 1 million robotaxis on the road by 2020. And in Q1, the stock got a little bit tripped up.
Tesla stock is down more than 2% in the after-hour session. Just got the numbers. Bill, give us the highlights.
Well, it's a bad number if you're looking for the top and bottom line for Tesla in the first quarter. A loss of $2.90. That compares with the estimate from analysts of a loss of 69 cents a share. So way worse than expected there.
Because half of all the vehicles that Tesla produced in Q1 occurred in the final 10 days of the quarter. And so they had what was called a logistics nightmare at the time in terms of delivering those cars, and that cost them money. They did reaffirm their guidance of 360 to 400,000 vehicles delivered in 2019, and they did fall within that guidance range. We know that now. Elon also said on the Q1 call that he expected the company to be able to produce over 500,000 vehicles globally within the next 12-month period ending June 30th, 2020. Then we had the second quarter call.
I mean, I went straight to automotive gross margin, which a lot of people were looking for. 19%, I think, misses forecasts.
Oh, clearly. I mean, this is, for the bulls, this is a disaster story in terms of that gross margin. You already knew what demand was in terms of growth, but it comes down to, can they do this profitably? You need to see something with a 2 in front of it. This is something that's definitely be a gut punch.
And the stock traded down again from about 260 to 270 down to 228, off 13%. And Tesla again had a disappointing miss. But the Q2 call laid positive groundwork for what was to come when Elon discussed how orders in the third quarter were tracking well ahead of where they were in the second quarter. The company also said that they expected to be GAAP profitable in the third quarter and going forward. They also mentioned progress on the Shanghai factory, as well as the expectation that the Model Y would be in production by the fall of 2020. Then we moved to Q3 and the stock beats earnings. It traded from approximately 250 to 260 ahead of earnings, all the way up to just under $300.
And Melissa, the reason this stock is shooting considerably higher is because the adjusted EPS is $1.86 profit for the third quarter. And that is far above what most people were expecting. The expectation, the consensus out on the street was for a loss of 42 cents a share. Trial production has begun at the Shanghai plant. Remember, they're going to be ramping up production and deliveries in China as they head into the end of the year. The Model Y, according to Tesla, is ahead of schedule.
There was some commentary around the idea that part of Tesla's beat was driven by recognizing revenue from FSD, but Tesla has hundreds of thousands and will have millions of cars with the full self-driving feature. People will pay for it, and it's sort of 100% margin. So that revenue will be coming in on a recurring basis, in my opinion, in the future. So I think it's okay to add it to earnings. One thing I wanted to point out about my model, I don't specifically add in a line item for FSD, Robotaxi, Cybertruck, a lot of other things that I call out in the Google Sheets model that I published. So take a look at my assumptions and tell me if you think they're conservative or aggressive. I'd be curious to know.
This whole idea that we're 1 quarter away from things kind of collapsing, I think that story took a step back and the overall story took a step forward.
So where am I for the quarter? I am holding long and strong. I have not sold any shares in 2020. I have added to my position. And if you just look at some of the websites and some of the commentary, you still see pessimist explanation for missing the rally. We see the recent China factory startup weighing on automotive gross margins in the first half of 2020. Despite overvaluation, difficult to press short case near term. Post Q419 deliveries, we raise our forecasts, but believe the stock already discounts a very favorable future that requires near perfect execution. So, where am I? I don't necessarily disagree with any of those things, but as I mentioned, I think institutions are still in the accumulation phase, and I believe consensus estimates for 2020 are around $5 to $6. I can get to $10. In my experience, when analysts increase their price estimates by that much, the stock can go up. So I really don't know what the reaction is going to be to the quarter. It's impossible to tell, but I still see a lot of fear and pessimism in the market, which tells me we have not reached a euphoric phase yet. I'm not going to go through my model on this video because I do that on lots of other videos, and maybe everybody's had enough of me doing that for now, but I have posted it to my Twitter account, which is IFTF6, and I'll leave a link in the description to the model. You can open it, you can go through it, enjoy it. If you see anything you'd like to change in terms of mistakes or anything else, please don't be shy about letting me know. And also, the only thing I ask is just if you like it, if you enjoy it, if you find it useful, just pass the link to this channel on to somebody else who might be interested in watching this content. It would really help so much to keep us rolling, and that would really mean a lot if you could do that. So thank you. And I will likely be live streaming the earnings this afternoon. So hopefully I will see you for that, and have a great day.
打开水头小，打开手头小。